Hey y'all, welcome back. As you can see, today we'll be working on the Green Goblin, Mr. Norman Osborn. Huge Marvel Comics fan here. I'm not sure how you guys feel about it, but of course, Green Goblin is probably one of the ones you see, in the movies and the comics and stuff. The image I'm gonna try to replicate here is probably one that you've probably seen before, but nonetheless, I mean, Green Goblin is that guy. So let's get started. As you'll see how we'll start developing this thing. Use a marker, probably use something thin like this for a few lines, and of course those super simple colors that Green Goblin always with or has. Let's get started. Like always, I like to start with the eyes. So let's find a good point where we can start putting those eyes. So I'm gonna start right about here. Not so high, not so low, just right about there. So let's get knocked out. Okay, let's start with that left eye. He's got these eyebrow things that are crazy. So his eye is pretty much there, right? So I want to get this right on the first run. Not have to do this all over again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pencil here, and I kind of want to, put a little line here. Give me a guideline to see where that other eye is going to be. So I don't stray too far away from it. So you can do that there. Do it in pencil. Erase it later on. It'll be good to go. So I'm gonna give him a little space here for his nose, and then I'm gonna start again. Of course, this is his eyebrow line here, so I'm gonna start about, say, maybe here, and make sure not to go above or below that line there. So try to kind of guesstimate, that other eye. Doesn't look too bad there. We'll get it all together, probably look better. Then he has a little eyebrow hook there that goes there, I think. So yeah, so those little pupils in there, right? And he's got these eyebrows that we can actually add on to now. Go right over the eye and then swoop back down right before that cheek point right there. So he's got his cheek right here. He's probably gonna be smiling in. And over here we would probably I think this is his nose line here. So then we can kind of do that deal. And do the same thing we did to the right eye. Kind of outline that eye with the eyebrow and some of that shaded area there, right? So you can shade it now or you can shade it later, but I'm going ahead and shade it now and get it over with. Remember, these lines don't have to be perfect. A lot of these were sketches in these comic books. And if you like that sketchy little look in those old comic books, then you could do that here. We'll go all the way down here. I think it's got like a cheek line, maybe like right here. So we'll just put a little line there. We'll match this one up over here too. So, okay. And then let's move down to his nose. Then we can kind of start adding some stuff around his eyes and stuff. But I say his nose would probably be about right. His eyes here, about right here. So they just continue on this step. Bridge of his nose. And then kind of come around like this, right? And this guy's it's kind of funky right now, but we'll get it together. And he's got this smile line or this frown line. It kind of looks like an eyebrow on the way too. Okay. So what we want to do here is kind of just carry this on, right? There's a lot of shading in this one, so be patient. Do it with the pencil. Come back over it with the marker once you're happy with the way it looks. I'm just kind of freestyling this here. Hopefully it comes out, decent enough to where you can actually see that it's the Green Goblin. All right, so he's got a little, I would say like little wrinkle lines here, right? See there? And let's just go kind of like lines here, right? Let's continue this line here up to here. And then we kind of got to go do the same thing here, right? So, and then I'm gonna take this one above that second line and bring it down about right here, right? Okay, and then on this side, he's got another line, I think, about here, right? And then I'm gonna take this thinner line here, almost connected there, right? Get that one here, and you got that one. So, bunch of wrinkles, you know, making crazy faces. Then let's go back here to his cheek. Right. I think the image that was in the comic had just a bunch of lines like this, kind of gave it that wrinkle look. Right. His cheekbone about right here. Then back down to his nose. And then his other smile line or frown line. Probably about the same depth maybe, or just a little bit further down. Just thicken that up a little bit. Be patient with me as this is going to take a little bit. Little highlight lines or low light lines. You can see it's starting to come together here with those little lines. And I think now we can start working on his mouth here. Let's just go right here with this little dark piece here. It gives you like a centering mark here. And then I don't want to do his lips with that one. I'm going to be too thick. But let's go with this thinner one. As you can see, let's try our best to not mess this up. All right, this one's gonna be the shorter because I think he's kind of turned to the side. We'll just make that thin lip right there. All right, let's connect that. And this one will bring down, just swoop it back up here. Right. It's got some of these lines here, you know, some shade. Okay, so I'm gonna continue drawing his mouth with this. It's kind of a little open here. It's not a straight line here they're doing for the bottom lip. It's got a small little bump in there. And then his teeth, right? These are always fun to draw because you just don't have to do them perfect. Right? Right, so shade all this in here. And I think this image was in Spider-Man 121, I think. If you know your comics, you probably know better than I do. But I know comics somewhat, so I think I might be right. Of course, here's the middle of the lip. Let's draw some of these little teeth in there, I guess, right? And then down here we could do another. Like, remember, these teeth don't have to be perfect. It is the Green Goblin. Thicken this bottom line up a little bit. It's getting there. Not too bad. Not too bad. Okay. Well, let's continue on with this one. So let's do the bottom here. And bottom lip. Right? And then we'll come right back here. It's got like a little, right? And his lip lines right here. Then we'll go from here to here. Some more lip lines. And then kind of thicken this out just to give it some shade underneath that lip. Right? And we'll carry that, kind of carry that shade on a little bit up, further up here. Right? Lines here for his chin. Right? So then we will continue on with the shady part here. He's got a lot of shade in him. Then we'll go back up here. Cheek line slash, I guess it would be cheek lines or chin lines, I'm sorry. Here, and then we will continue here to do some shading here. Right. I guess this would be where he's kind of looking over his shoulder, so this would be like his arm. The shading there on his. So let's go back up here to his cheek. Just round that off there. And then we can add some little lines there as a shade, right? And then we'll come back over to this side. Same. 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 A bit more shading there for the chin. Right, and then we'll come back up here. Let's just say here. And this will be a little bit shaded area too, right before you get to his hood, right? Then we'll do the same thing over here, like this. But we'll bring that all the way over to his cheekbone here, right? There you go. Right? Then on this side, do here. To be part of his head wrap there. His hair wrap, his hat. However you want to describe it. Right? Looks like a mad Buzz Lightyear. But let's move on to his ear. His ears are, of course, part of his character that everybody likes. So right here is continue that shoulder, right? I was just looking over it. Then we'll go here. Then his ear would be somewhat about there. Connect that up. Little line here. No shading there. Same here. Same there. Got more shading here. These comics back in the day, they had a whole bunch of shading, you know, that kind of set the bar for artists and you know how they would draw their comics. So you may see a bunch of comics today that still have all these crazy shading. So many artists that, you know, they'll do it that way. I guess it'd just be part of the comic style, right? So many different styles. So just part of the suit here is just going to be shaded in. Doesn't have a whole lot of importance, but still looks cool. I guess that would be his other shoulder here. And you know, he's got those, you know, crazy looking scales on his skin. Let's draw the other ear. So I want to say his ear, say about here. I'm not gonna completely draw it, but I'm gonna a lot of it's shaded, so I guess we just have to outline where we think his ear will be, and then just shade it in. Right. If I was drawing this in pencil, I'd probably be doing a lot better here, but right now it's just kind of like just winging it right now with this marker. More shading here, a few more lines here, there, go here. Just, I think it's gonna make this a little bit thicker there, right? Maybe this piece a little bit thicker here. Right. And then his headpiece would be, say, I'm gonna go a little bit harder here than that line, kinda. And I'm gonna say it's gonna go to there, so I'm just gonna take a big old swoop here. Better there, right? How we go through. Feel free to check out the comic. So many in there that you can copy and draw, and you know, draw it up, put it in the frame. I think they look cool, especially with the style, because it doesn't necessarily have to be perfect for you to, you know, be happy with it. A lot of these comics that you do read or you see, it's exactly how it's drawn. It's not perfect, but it looks really cool, you know, the style that is used with these. And I think this one actually had like a little thing here that said the Green Goblin or so, but we're gonna leave that out. So let's see, some shady around the area of his little hat. Same here. So as you can tell, that's probably not the best portion of it. So either way, I think it's gonna do, of course, what we need to do here, give you an easy idea of how to do things. Keep things proportioned. Super easy thing to do. As long as you find a spot where you can start and just kind of branch out, you'll do amazing. So easy. Just all about shapes and, you know, keep everything proportioned where they're supposed to be. Of course, we're all human, so we know where all these parts go, right? So I mean, pretty much it for this. I mean, if I wanted to, I could probably just add some color on there so that you can get an idea of, you know, what we got here. This pink may be a little too bright, maybe, but gives you an idea nonetheless. Quick, right? And then I guess his little hat here. As you can see, just go right to the top here. Go back over here. If you're gonna color over the black, just be sure that it's dry, just so it doesn't bleed everywhere, or make your, you know, your pink a little too dark. But these are alcohol markers, so as you can see here, these lines look kind of funny. So, you know, if you want to just, you know, nobody will know you messed up. You see there? Well, maybe you guys do know that I kind of messed up here, but nonetheless, some wrinkles here for that looking over shoulder part of, you know, feel to it. And then I guess his face would be, I guess, a green, huh? So try this one. It's coming to life. You know, some comics and some series, some episodes, some movies, whatever it may be, the eyes are colored. But of course, this one being like the first rendition of the Green Goblin, I'm pretty sure this is pretty close to when he was first introduced in the Marvel universe here. I think created by Stan Lee or so. I'm sure there's a bunch of artists that don't get, or creators that don't get the recognition that they ought to get, but look it up. It's out there, right? So look at that. It's looking a lot better. Look, don't forget the shoulder here. These green scales, right? Not too bad if you look at it from about 50 feet, but let's do a little shading on this background here. Give it a little bit more pop. And of course, you don't have to color out on the page. You can always just, you know, draw lines to where you want to draw, but I'll just kind of fade it out like this. Don't forget that spot. And with these, you don't have to really worry about, you know, shading a little bit, you know, a tone lower or higher with these, because of course all the shading was done with all this, you know, these little black areas here. So just go there, nothing crazy. You want to just add this to this if you wanted to, just to wrap it all up. I think that's pretty much it. If you want to just go through it again and be sure that all your lines are nice and dark, and are where you want them to be, I think you're good to go. But of course, this isn't perfect. Just an idea of what you can do with, you know, looking at comic books and taking something out that you really like and you know, making a little bit of fan art about it. But that's that. Colors that I used, markers. It's awesome. Let me know if you guys want to see anything else. I guess in the comic book category, I probably do a lot of these things, which I love. But you'll see them here. Tune in. Thanks a lot. See you next time.